Well, if you are someone who really likes the styling of the Honda CR-V but has always wanted something more affordable and a whole lot more practical, then Honda has the answer for you in the new BR-V. Well, what is this car all about? Essentially, it is a compact crossover, but it also offers you 7 seats and will take on the likes of the Hyundai Creta as well as the Ford EcoSport. While it may look like a posh SUV and very similar to the CR-V from the front with its stylish headlamps as well as that big grille, when you see it from the side angle, it looks more like an MPV and in particular very similar to the Honda Mobilio. But that's probably because it is a long car at almost 4.5 meters in length. Moving on to the back, things improve dramatically and this car looks really stylish. The large reason for that is that Honda has integrated both the tail lamps very well and have joined them on the boot lid. That, along with this huge chrome garnish, really gives it a very classy look at the back. And talking about the back, the boot is really big and spacious. The best part about this car are the flexible seats inside the cabin. With all 3 rows up, there's plenty of space, and with no loading lip and a very low sill, loading in those heavy objects is not an issue at all. You can also fold the last row down and stow it away, revealing a very large area for luggage carrying capacity. Well, so here I'm inside the new Honda BR-V, and as you can see, it's an all black cabin, and what that means is that the seats on this car will not get soiled rather easily, unlike the ones on the Honda Amaze as well as the Jazz. Overall, the quality of materials used is pretty decent. The dashboard is exactly the same as the one on the Honda Amaze now, and in fact the dials are exactly the same as the one on the Amaze, City as well as Jazz. So in that sense, it feels very plush as well as upmarket. Seat comfort is good as well, support for the lower back is good, and because the seat scope is both wide as well as long, you will feel very comfortable on these seats on the long journeys. Well, in terms of practicality, it's a decent place to be. You get these 2 big beverage holders over here where you can of course keep your favorite sugary drink. You also get 1 bottle holder over here. In terms of equipment, you get a lot of bells and whistles. You get automatic climate control on this top end version. Surprisingly, Honda have taken out the touch panel which comes in the City as well as the Jazz. Also missing on this car are reverse parking sensors as well as a reverse view camera. So that's something that maybe Honda should add. But as a standard, you get 2 airbags across all variants. So in terms of safety, this is a pretty well kitted car. Well, by now I am sure that you know my height is 5'10", and I always do adjust the front seat for my driving position, and even then, as you can see, headroom is more than adequate over here. So this car is very good for anyone who's over 6 feet tall as well. Kneeroom is good as well, and there is place below the front seats where I can stretch my feet. The best part, of course, in this car is the fact that the floor panel is very flattish. There's a very minimal hump in it, but it's not too much. So whoever is sitting in the middle has plenty of place to stretch his feet, and this car really is a genuine 3-seater at the back. Well, what also aids comfort in these seats, of course, is the fact that you get these AC vents, and you can also slide these seats forward or push them all the way back, and you can also adjust the backrest angle depending on how comfortable you really want to be. Well, here I am in the last row of the BR-V seats, and as you can see, headroom is pretty adequate. Kneeroom is also surprisingly decent, and I have pushed the backrest of these seats slightly forward. It's not all the way forward, but even then, kneeroom is decent. But yes, it's not a place where taller adults will feel comfortable on long journeys. For short city stints, not an issue, but those long journeys, someone who is 5'10" will not be comfortable. And also the fact that the AC's throw is pretty strong away, the throw of air from the AC is pretty good, as well as the fact that you get your own bottle holder over here means that if you have younger adults in the family, they should be pretty okay in the last row of the BR-V seats. Well, so here I am driving the new Honda BR-V, and remember this car comes with 2 engine options. You get a diesel as well as a petrol motor, and both the engines are shared with the Honda City and are in fact the exact same engines as the Honda City, so power output is also the same. Well, in terms of the refinement of the diesel engine, it has been remarkably improved by Honda, and the BR-V is the most quietest as well as the most refined of the entire lot which uses this diesel engine, and Honda really has taken great measures to do that. What they have done is that they have improved the structural rigidity of this chassis. So they have used a lot of sound deadening material inside the door panels as well as below the bonnet to make sure that the cabin occupants are not feeling stressed with that noise from the diesel motor. Well, the diesel motor really is a punchy unit, and the best part is that it responds from a very low RPM from around 1600, 1700 RPM, which is very good for a diesel engine. Well, the other good point about this diesel, of course, is the fact that it's a very fuel efficient engine, and remember, it also does duty on the Amaze as well as the City and Jazz. So in that sense, we all know how efficient it can be and is. Also, the gearbox on the diesel engine is pretty sporty to operate and has a very short throw. It's very slick, and that also adds a fair bit of excitement to the BRV's overall personality. While talking about the petrol motor is the same as the Honda City, so refinement really is phenomenal to say the least. In fact, when it is switched on and standing still, you can't really tell if the engine is on or off. It's so refined. And the best part is that it comes with a 6-speed manual gearbox. It is the first car in this category to offer you a 6-speed manual gearbox on a petrol car, and that extra gear gives it a lot of flexibility on the highway and also aids fuel efficiency by a long way. While talking about ride and handling of this car, it is a car which offers you a very stable ride on the highway, and Honda seems to have worked on the suspension really well, because at slow city speeds it does manage to soak in the bumps quite easily. Yes, you will have to slow down when you see a rumble strip, and that's because some of the sharper crevices do enter the cabin. Well, the steering is pretty sharp on both the diesel as well as the petrol car, and yes, the diesel feels a little heavier. The steering on the diesel motor feels a little heavier, but that's okay because the engine is slightly heavier up ahead. But in terms of responsiveness, it is a pretty sharp steering wheel and it is quick-witted. And if you are someone who enjoys quick lane changes or enjoys pushing his car into corners, then this is a pretty good car for that. Well, this car, remember, also comes with a CVT gearbox on the petrol motor. It's the first car in this segment which will offer you a CVT automatic. In that sense, it is a very convenient car to drive if you drive a lot in the city yourself. And the CVT is very similar in operation to the one on the Jazz. You also get paddle shifters at the back behind the steering wheel on the automatic, which add to a sense of drive involvement. The best part about the BRV, of course, is the fact that these windows are really big, and they give you a feeling of a much more bigger and a much more brighter cabin than it already really is. So overall, with its posh looks on the outside, a very practical as well as comfortable cabin on the inside, and fuel efficient as well as punchy diesel and petrol engines, the Honda BRV really has a lot going for it. In fact, there are few other options as good as this car if you are in the market for a 7-seater at this price point. But if you want something slightly smaller, then you can also check out our review of the Maruti Suzuki Vitara Brezza by clicking over here, and also check out our review of the Hyundai Creta by clicking over here. And as always, don't forget to subscribe by clicking on this link above. It's bye for now, and hope to see you soon.